Hey, I just wanted to make a quick video going over what makes a good League Start build in Path of Exile and how you can figure out what will be a good League Start build for the next build. So let's hop right into it. First of all, I'm just going to be using the site poe.ninja because it is an aggregator of all sorts of builds. You can go from economy to builds up here and find all of the different builds that people have been playing. Use the time snapshot to figure out when they've been playing them. Um, and then you can set all the leagues, and you can even set the previous leagues, including Heist and the flashback event. Um, and that's going to expand later as more leagues come into their database. Um, but let's hop right into it. So I just basically went to day one of solo self-found ritual, and the reason that I did that is because this is what people are genuinely playing as their league starter, and this is what people are playing without any gear and without any like groups. Because a lot of people like to group up and play their league starts together, and things that I really would not recommend playing solo. So you see a whole bunch of different things. You see Blade Blast, Blade Fall, Blade Blast. You see Vol Detonate Dead. Um, you see all sorts of different things. I would recommend something like this. Earthquake, you see quite a lot of Earthquake in there. It's probably the most common melee build with like an axe and a shield, and you could see exactly what this guy has. He's got a 5 link, nothing crazy at all. He's got to 83. He's got almost 5,000 health with pretty garbage gear, and he's going to be doing probably red maps with this character just because the skill itself is good. The gear is bad, but it still works. He's got Fortify. He's got a little bit of Chaos Res, a little bit of damage. Really nothing crazy. Nothing crazy at all. He's got an axe with 1 to 2 added physical damage. But it's builds like these that can do a lot of the game. They've been tried and tested. Really, I think the number one thing is just to let other people figure out what are going to be the league start builds that are actually good. Let other people practice. This guy, top 5 Glad, he's not lying. I think he's the top Gladiator on day one. I might be wrong about that, but it's definitely up there. This guy's like practicing. This guy's figuring out exactly what the build is going to be, and then he does it. And things just don't change that much from league to league. So that if you copied this build exactly, next league, even if Earthquake gets hit, GGG just doesn't nerf things hard enough for this build to be completely broken next league. Same thing here, basically. Attack builds are generally a little bit less strong than spell builds as league starters, in my opinion, because finding the insane weapons that you really want for the attack builds is way harder, and it's way easier to find something like this wand with +1 to level of all fire spell skill gems. And then you just slap on a Detonate Dead on it, and you can do most content in the game off this. This is basically a tabula. It's got 42 fire res and 98 life. Like that's not anything. You could absolutely get that. It would be kind of expensive the first day of a league, but you could run this build on a tabula. You'd have a little bit less than 6k life. 6k is way more than you need for most of the content in the game, especially when you have like a little bit of block on your shield. And Detonate Dead is a fantastic skill for a league start. And these people have already figured it out for you. You just find these people on here, find a skill that you want. I would recommend finding something that's popular. So Blade Blast is great, Detonate Dead is great, Toxic Rain is great, Vortex is great. We're going to talk about that a little bit later if you know anything about that item. Here's another great one. Mine builds are always fantastic as league starts, especially because of this item, which kind of transitions me into the thing that I'm going to talk about next, which is building around a unique, especially if you're playing in Trade League. If you want to build around a unique that will kind of carry your build, that's always a great idea. This has socketed gems are supported by level 10 Blast Chain Mine. So you just put in any strong spell skill, and it becomes like a mine. It's got some increased spell damage. It's got level of socketed spell gems, mines can be detonated an additional time. Fucking crazy staff. So you just slap one of those on there. You get the 5-link prophecy for probably 25, 30 chaos day one of a league if you're unlucky. Yeah, you could carry this thing throughout the entire game. There's videos of people doing Uber Elder, doing really truly end game bosses with a 5-link Tremor Rod. Some people who are actually like really good at the game can do it with like a fucking 3-link Tremor Rod, maybe even a 2-link. This is another great one. Socketed gems are supported by level 20 concentrated effect. If you get a 4-link on this, it's effectively a 5-link. Almost effectively a 6-link because of these two mods. Ton of damage. Very decent energy shield on a helmet. You just slap this thing on, and you'll be riding it until the end game. Even when you get to the real end game, this would be for a Vortex build. You can put the Vortex in your chest piece, and you can put the other cold dot skill, like what is it called? Creeping Frost or whatever in this one, and it's a ton of damage. And then here's an example of someone using Tremor Rod. So you can just like steal this. This is someone on day one. Obviously it's in a traded league, and this guy says boss carry, so he's playing with a group and he's playing as the boss carry. But the boss carry has to be like the strongest league starter of all of them, because you have to be doing things like Itziri. These are a boss drop from Itziri, so you know he's doing Itziri day one. Kaum's plate, he's doing something that's really profitable, so he's bought a Kaum's day one that's probably like an X, maybe maybe 2Xs. 2X. He's got this, which, I mean, X is pretty close to like 35 chaos at day one of a league. And a 5-link prophecy is not too far off of that. It's probably like 2/3 of an X. But even with this as a 4-link, that'll do most content in the game without any problem at all. And you really don't need 5,500 life for this. This is just overkill. Ball lightning, this is not accurate. Not at all. Ball lightning is weird because it fires a whole bunch of times and you put slower projectiles on it, and then it shocks a whole bunch of different times. And then here's the other thing that I was going to talk about, which is taking a look at patch notes and using them to determine what is going to be good and what is not going to be good. So when we take a look at the league starters for Heist, we're looking at day one of Heist, the previous league before Ritual. You see 336 people with Spectre in a 5-link or more. And then you see the patch notes for Ritual, and Spectres are just absolutely obliterated. They're just totally ass fucked. This is bad. This is a bug fix. This is a huge nerf to some really powerful Spectres. But like these are absolutely terrible. Terrible nerfs. So you see something going from 336 to 72. And that's for the skill gem that I would say is the hardest nerfed. And that might look really bad for Spectres, but honestly, 72 people still thought it was good. It's still a strong league start, even with the gem being just totally obliterated. It's still strong enough for people to get to 89, 89, 88, 87 on day one of a league. Like, the builds that are good league starters just don't change, and you can always look them up by using PoE Ninja, looking for like day one, day two, day three of a league. I like to look at day one, and you click on the character, and you can go through the character, like day two of a league. Let's see what his gear changed to. Day 3 of league, this guy looks like he's playing with a group. Yeah, day 3 of league, he starts, this looks like he's strength stacking or something, or wants to be. I don't even know what this is. But his gear changes as he goes on, and changes. Maybe at day 6 he won't have a tabula. Yeah, so you can see how his gear, how his character evolves as he plays through the league, which can be a good thing to figure out exactly what you want your gear to do too. But really, what makes a good league starter? Good league starters are things that don't need a lot of gear to get going. Good league starters are things that have been strong for leagues in the past, the tried, true, proven things, and then things that have generally not been obliterated by patch notes. But even if they have, it's still probably fine.